Hello, everyone, and welcome back to TD Fans Talk, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, I'm coming to you live with the new series. We are talking NFL versus the NFLPA. What's going on? We have a new collective bargaining agreement that will be coming up in about 2 years. Now, this is going to be very, very, very important because there are some major changes. We actually might have a lockout this time, and we definitely want to avoid that. Now, this is going to be a multiple part series. All right. So, with it being a multiple part series, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how many episodes I'm going to do yet. And the reason why is because I'm going to get through as much as I can for about 45 minutes every single time. So, I can tell you today, we're going to start out talking about the men behind the fight. All right. We're going to, because we need to make sure we get the background of who we're talking about and what we're talking about that's going on in this series when we talk about the NFL versus the NFLPA. And once again, this is only for the Miami Dolphin fan. Well, any football fan. You don't even have to be a Dolphin fan for this series. But this is for the fans that really do believe that football is more than X's and O's on the field, okay? Much more than X's and O's on the field. This is a business, okay? What we are witnessing is a business. The players are employed by the NFL. We're going to talk about how that works, the actual structure of the NFL, so that as we continue in this series, you all don't listen to me like, what is he talking about? I need you all to make sure that you follow along with me if you're going to be tuning into this series, because we're going to go in depth talking about the NFL versus the NFLPA. This is beyond, Miami Dolphins, I'm happy about Preston Williams, I'm happy about Josh Rosen. This is bigger than them, okay? Because at the end of the day, the game we all love with our favorite players wouldn't even matter if they have a lockout. We're going to be sitting there just like the uneducated fans, like I was before I did all my research. You'll be sitting there saying, man, what's the problem? They need to just make a deal. You don't even know what they're fighting over. You don't even know why there just may be no football in 2 years until they actually reach a deal. Which side's going to win? Does it make sense to you all? Does it make sense to me? We're going to talk about all of it, guys. All right, but let's talk about the structure of it first and foremost, okay? You have the NFL. People have to realize the NFL is a business. The NFL is a business, all right? Now, who runs the NFL? Roger Goodell. So it's safe to say he is in charge of the business. Now, we all know the NFL teams are owned by 32 owners, okay? They're truly the ones who run the NFL. But just like the republic we live in the United States, they elect someone to represent them, okay? Just like we elect our senators to represent us, our congressmen, all of those type of things, we elect them, okay? Just like we elect our president, okay? So at the end of the day, you have to understand that relationship between owner and the person they elect to carry out their wishes, which is Roger Goodell, all right? Now, the owners only have one goal. They only have one. Well, I'm not going to say one goal at the top. And then there's like one goal, then two goals. And then it's just, don't even care. That number one goal is to make money. That is it. Now, we have owners that love the game too, but their number one goal is to make money because this is their asset. Their team is their asset. Now, it's a nice asset to have because you get to play with it. You know, this isn't your typical business where you buy a restaurant and let it make you money, and you usually keep things the way they are and let it make you money. But this is something you can actually enjoy and play with. This is my team. I'm an owner. But you elect a man to represent you and your interests as a collective group, all 32 guys. Now, when they elect Roger Goodell, his number one job is get them their money. And as much as possible, and break records if you can. And at the end of the day, make sure we grow. Because if the NFL is growing, these men that elected me to do my job, their bank accounts are growing. Their assets, which is the NFL team, the value of it is growing. I mean, we got owners that paid $300 million for their team, right now worth $2 billion. They've already 7 times their money. Already 7 times their money just owning the NFL franchise. Bought it for $300 million, 10, 15, 20, however many years later, it is now worth $2 billion, $3 billion. Cowboys are $5 billion. Safe to say Jerry Jones, if I'm not mistaken, bought it for like $300 million. I might be wrong, but last I read, I think that was it. But it's safe to say this man has made literally about 17 times his money. Just off of a $300 million investment, now you got a $5 billion business that you're running and owning an NFL team. So Roger Goodell, all we ask you to do is turn that $5 billion for the Cowboys into $10 billion. You know, just build the league. Make these teams worth so much. And let me tell you why the teams are worth so much. Every single team just about profits every year. And the Miami Dolphins in the last 20 years, if I'm not mistaken from what I read, a minimum profit of about 30 million. And only 1 year I saw where they lost profit, and that's when the new owner came in the very next year. They lost profit. They lost like 20 or 30 something million. The only time. Every other year, 50 million made this year, 40 million made this year. Now, this is after everybody's paid and everything. The Miami Dolphin organization profit, which is the owners, another 50 million that year. Or whatever it may be. It could be greater, guys. And this has been the Miami Dolphins who have been losing for quite some time. So imagine if we were winning. I'm pretty sure I can guess right now there's teams in the NFL, their owners, from merchandise, from stadium revenue and all of that stuff, they're literally making over $100 to $200 million a year. Easy, especially if you're winning. Especially if you're coming off of a winning season. I can only imagine what the Patriots are making a year. Over and over and over. So they're making all this money. So remember this whenever we talk about these negotiations. You have to understand, if you were in Roger Goodell's shoes, you might have handled many of the things that we're going to talk about the same way he did. Even if it's not in the best interest of the players or it's not taking care of them. And we're going to talk about them as well and give you their side, okay? But you have to understand, I used to not, when I didn't know the information that I know now, I used to just look at the commissioners, they doing all this stupid stuff, and why wouldn't they do this? Why wouldn't they do that? Blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, he only has one job. I can't get mad at him for doing his job. His job is to make them money. So how he makes them money is by making sure every deal he does, every rule he puts in place, every situation that he puts in place is either making them money, building the brand, helping them grow, up. No such thing for him as we'll take away a little, just to give them more. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. His job, there's multiple owners on some teams, by the way, okay? But his job, he is required to make money for the owners. So keep that in mind, because I don't want to sound like I'm backing the NFL at times. And then I'm going to tell you why I don't want to sound like I'm backing the players at times. But I want you to keep that in mind as we continue these conversations, that his job is to make them money. And he has done a hell of a job. And that's why they have extended his contract in 2019. This is exactly why they have extended his contract in 2019. But speaking of Roger Goodell, let's talk about him a little, okay? Let's talk about his career in the NFL. What's been loved, what's been liked, who this guy is. It's like Roger Goodell. He the commissioner of the NFL. Some people think that, hey, a whole bunch of friends get together and, hey, let's make this guy a commissioner. No, you got to be somebody. You have to have done something. You would have to have led some serious organizations or have just all the experience in the world. And you can't just go be the commissioner of the NFL. And we're talking about one of the biggest, why am I saying one of the biggest marketing opportunity for companies in the world. The NFL. Do some of you all know Some of you all know that the NFL, I saw an article the other day, the top 60 viewed events, sporting events or whatever. Back up. The top 60 events viewed on TV. That's what it was. The top I'm talking about ratings, how many people watch. The top events, right? 60 of I should have found this article. I'm gonna give you an example of what I saw. It was like 60 out of 70 of the events were NFL. And 8 were all other sports, and 2 were some other networks. I think even the Olympics was in it. But football is viewed and we're talking about single games. It might be a Sunday night game, Cowboys versus Giants or something like that. It might be a Dolphins versus Patriots that made out of all TV networks as far as most viewed. The NFL is leading the competition by far. 60 NFL games a year have more ratings than 3 NBA games in a year, and you better know those are probably the NBA final games. 60 NFL games, and I'm not even talking about playoffs, y'all. 60 NFL games. That'll help you understand the power that the NFL possesses in the market in this country for the TV networks. The power they possess. The power they possess, man. They're swimming in cash. And like I told you all the other day, the share of revenue, the revenue was 15, 16 billion last year. It's crazy. It was like 8 billion spread out between all the teams. That's a lot of money every single year. Now, it's not Walmart. It's not, Amazon. It's not those kind of companies. That's a whole different level. But these companies are major, man. It's huge, all right? Now, with that being said, you have to understand that when you own that type of market share, these TV companies, they're battling you. Hey, y'all haven't noticed in the last 10 years, the Super Bowls changed from this channel to that channel. The Thursday night's games changed from this channel to that channel. Now this team has Monday night. Now this network has Monday night. Both of those networks have those Saturday games now. It used to be just NFL. They're fighting. They're calling the NFL. CBS is like, we need all Sunday 1 a.m. games. Now, don't play with us. We're giving you a lot of money. We'll up it this time. On this new deal, we'll up it. And Fox is calling, no, we want those. We want our normal and we want those. ESPN is saying, hey, we want to send you this amount of millions or billions of dollars so that we can get the Sunday night game. And 10 years ago, it was half. They would get half the revenue. And now it's double. Why do you think the player salary go up? Because of the last CBA. The 52 to 48 split. That's why the salary cap went from like 130 million in just a few years, 188 in just a few years. And that's what it's about. Those TV deals in this new CBA, these new TV deals, that's even more money. The new stats came out where they're still dominating, and not only dominating, they're pulling off from the competition when it comes to views. For sporting events, these networks are trying to get all over that and put their commercials through those games that they make money from. They're trying to get all over. We want everybody watching our network because then we're going to get some of the most expensive ads on this big game. That's how they get the revenue. That's how your TV stations make revenue. Commercials, just like the radio station. Commercials. That's all it is. And when you get that many viewers, you can charge more for your commercials because people want them on that primetime game. Hey, I'm selling Dolphin car paint jobs, and I just need my business to get on the TV. You're finna pay a heavy price on that Miami New England game Monday night to get it on TV. You paying a lot of money. Them networks making a lot of money. That's why they're able to dish out all that money to NFL. All that money. But you see some of the main companies advertising during the game. Soda companies, insurance companies, the billion-dollar companies. Because they can pay those. Look, Geico Auto Insurance spends $1 billion a year on advertisement. Come on, man. All that money out there for these networks. And that's just showing Geico commercial 2 times during the whole game. What about the other 50 commercials? They making a lot of money, and this is how they get their money. So if they get their money this way, now they have a little more flexibility. But the problem is Roger Goodell's job is, I'm trying to get money for the owners. So when you're trying to get money for the owners, you may have a split where NFL gets 50% of the revenue and we'll divide the other 50% between the players. Okay, fair. But it's Roger Goodell's job to say, hey, things have been steady for a while and we all making money, but my job is to keep growing and making more profits. So as the person who runs a company, they're supposed to be evaluating the entire company. Where can we cut money? How can we save money? How can we spend money to make money? How can we do this? How can we leverage that? How can we? That's what's going on in Roger Goodell's mind right now. How can we grow? How can we grow? How can we make more money? How can we, the future? I'm thinking 40 years down the line. How can we have 60 teams, all around the world, and we're just making money all around the international? How can we do this? How can we get this money for the owners so that they can re-up my contract and I can keep getting 30, 40, $50 million a year? Oh, he gets paid. He gets paid. Why wouldn't he? Because he's delivering. He's delivering. Roger Goodell is delivering. And side note, tell you a quick story. When Minkah Fitzpatrick was drafted, I was at the draft. I was on the floor. It was in Dallas, Texas. I was there watching the players come by, autograph our stuff, and I met up with Roger Goodell 3 times. And that was a fun experience. The first time, it was like a shake hand. He kept it moving. The second time, I actually gave him a little compliment. And he said, oh, do you really believe that? I said, yes. And then he signed my thing. He said, I appreciate that. And he's a guy that looks you in the eye. So I appreciate that. And he took off. And then the last time at the Minkah when he was coming through and he was leaving and we shook again and he autographed something else. That's how I got, you see this right here? And if you haven't seen it yet, go check out my draft story. Last year around this time, I released a video about my draft story when I was at the draft, because I told y'all I couldn't actually go in with the Dolphins fan club because they never responded to my emails. I was trying to be a part of it, but whatever. But I couldn't go. So my friend, he has a close relative, a part of the Falcons fan club. And since they were coming into where I lived in Dallas and they were flying in, we hung out. They were like, hey, do you want to go? Absolutely. There's only one catch. You got to wear something Atlanta. So I wore a scarf. Oh, y'all forgive me, man. Y'all forgive me. I wore this red, white, and black scarf around my neck. And I was in there, and I did a few cheers for him. I was out of play. Hey, by all means, got to get in the building, baby. You already know. But anyway, long story short, they give you when you on the floor. I'm not talking about in the stands in the draft, but you're on the floor. Players coming through. When the first round pick actually comes to the section, you all taking pictures with them and everything. And when I was there, I got this flag because I had all this Atlanta Falcons gear because they give you a bag under your seat. On the floor with all type of the fitted hat for Atlanta Falcons, just a whole bunch of expensive stuff. I was actually shocked. So I went all the way up there to the Dolphins section on the last day of the draft because I went to all 3 days. I went all the way up to the front and I met this older couple from down south, and we in the Dolphins section. I was hanging out with them. I said, yeah, I'm wearing red, white, and black. But I said, I have to have something that's Miami Dolphins. Can I get something out of one of y'all bags? I'll give you this Roger Goodell signed access badge or whatever. And they said, oh, my girlfriend likes the Falcons or whatever, and gave it to him. He gave me this little measly flag, and I traded that because I had to leave with some Dolphins. Dolphins over everything, baby. But I had to pay the cost to get in. But anyway, back to the story. Back to what we're talking about, all right? But Roger Goodell is a cool guy from what I know. But I do respect people like him because he's out there making a living. His job to running a company is to make the owners money. So we don't have to like it as fans that are more player friendly than organization friendly. We don't have to like it. I get that. But at the end of the day, the man's only doing his job. All right. Now, he's getting all his commercial money. He's getting all his deal money. And at some point, it's like, we already got commercial money. We got deal money. How else can we make more money? It's my job to make this the best company with the biggest profits ever and just make money, money, money. So now this is where it gets tough. He starts looking at the players. He starts seeing, as a businessman, how can I leverage everything that I have in this NFL? It's all mine. These players are mine. I know they don't want to hear that, but he runs the NFL. You work for him. It's just that you do have a union that represents you, that defends you and everything. But don't get it twisted. You work for Roger Goodell. He runs the NFL. He's the one who puts the gauntlet down. He does all of that. You work for the man. Okay? Now, but he starts messing with the players. And when I say messing with them, it may not be messing with them because he's doing his job. He's trying to cut costs. But from the player's perspective, oh, you're messing with me now. And what do I mean by messing with me? Roger Goodell. People aren't happy about how he fines people. He'll overly fine you. Now, mind you, I'm so sorry. I am getting a little ahead. Let me back up just a quite bit. I wanted to, before I went into that, I wanted to go into how Roger Goodell even became the commissioner of the NFL. See, most people don't even know nothing about Roger Goodell. They just, oh, he's the commissioner of the NFL. You don't know nothing else about the man. But this man started boots on the ground back in 1982 in the NFL. Now, remember, the NFL is a company. It's just like your Walmarts. It's just like your insurance companies. And you might come in as an entry-level person answering the phone, telling people how are they doing today and how can you help. But there's growth in companies. You can go up the ladder, go up the chain. And Roger Goodell started as an intern in 82, y'all. And then he actually went to the next year, he went to the New York Jets as an intern. So remember, you can go to an organ. By the way, matter of fact, if you want a job with the Jets, you ain't really contacting the Jets. The jobs listed is actually under the NFL. You have to apply for the job through the NFL. It's like an NFL job post. The Jets is a team of the NFL. The NFL is the company. Don't forget that. See, people think, oh, this is the Miami Dolphins or the Jets or whoever it may be. This is our team. No. You're under the NFL. You're a region. Put it like that. You're a region. That's how the business looks at it. They don't look at it as, oh, that's the Miami Dolphins down there. No, you're our Miami Dolphin region. You're our Tampa Bay region. You handle that market for us. You're our Jacksonville region. You handle that market for us. You see how gruesome it kind of feels when you stop talking football and you talk about business? You're a region that makes us money. That's all you are. Every region bringing in revenue. Or what, you see what I mean? By playing the games. And we're getting the commercial deals. Your region. Do what you make your numbers right in your region. Be good. Manage your books. We give you this amount a year. Stay in the salary cap of the budget that we send you. You see? That's a salary cap. It ain't nothing but a budget for your business. That's all it is. So he went to the Jets as an intern. Then he went back to the NFL as a public relations department in 84. 87, he was appointed as the assistant to the president of American Football Conference, Lamar Hunt, which Paul Tagliuga, if that's how you pronounce his name, he was the commissioner at the time because I remember him. Now, people, okay, my bad, one moment. Hello? Yeah. No. Yeah, I do that first and then come. That way you can finish. Okay, I will. All right. That's cool. Bye-bye. Sorry, guys. But back in 87, he was the assistant president. He basically moved up the ranks of the NFL, guys. He was a guy who started on the ground as an intern who moved all the way up. And then in 2001, he became the COO, Chief Operating President. No, excuse me, Chief Operating Officer, COO. So basically, he was calling the shots then back in 2001. But as the NFL COO, Goodell took responsibility for the league's football operations and officiating. That's what he was in charge of at the time. Now, you move along to 2006. That's when he actually became the commissioner because Tagliuga was forced to step down. And from my understanding, that's when the NFL wasn't in his best spot anyway. He was forced to step down, obviously, by his bosses, the owners, okay? So Goodell has been taking over ever since that. He's taken over ever since that. One thing, the problem with Goodell, though, is he has a lot of criticism. He has read up with the NFL, but he has a lot of criticism of himself. Some people aren't happy that he shut down the league in Europe. There was an NFL league in Europe, by the way. NFL just trying to expand, make more money, have a league in Europe. Just wasn't doing well. Goodell ended up shutting down the league. Some people wanted it to keep going so that they could have had more teams in Europe and things like that, but he shut that down. Some people aren't happy about how he handles players' conduct. You know, all the things that the players have been doing and getting in trouble, the way he's handled those situations, people don't like him. The suspension terms, people don't like that he's been giving out, all that type of stuff. They also don't like how he handles Spygate, and we all know what Spygate was, them cheaters. And then also the 2011 NFL lockout. There was a brief lockout, if y'all don't remember. There was a brief lockout. They came to an agreement at the last minute, and that's only, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. The NFL really didn't budge. It's the NFLPA that budged. They went ahead and cut a deal with the NFL. They didn't get everything they wanted. Neither did the NFL neither. But we're going to talk about more about cross stuff later. Right now, we're talking about Roger Goodell, and then we're going to talk about Smith. And then after that, we'll have a stream as well about the two different sides and what they're actually arguing about. But people, as far as Roger Goodell, they also don't like, there wasn't just a lockout that year in 2011. They don't like how he handled it, though. But they also don't like the next year, the referee lockout. Y'all remember that when the referees say they wouldn't work? They were about to basically strike, and there was going to be a referee lockout because they couldn't come to an agreement with the Players Association. Yes, not only do the players have a association, but the referees have an association as well. This is big business. Collective groups have to get representation just in case the company is trying to basically screw them over, okay? They also don't like how he handled the Bountygate situation. Then you have how his proposals and how we couldn't come up with an agreement with the player brain damage situation. Y'all remember that fire? NFL, they thought the NFL would go bankrupt or something. They were trying to sue for so much money because of, I don't know if it was CTE and all of that with the head damage and stuff. And the NFL tried to prove that it had nothing to do with it. It had nothing to do with these players going crazy and things like that. And I'm not even going to name the players, but guys, I probably said this 10 times. A movie you need to watch is, it was just the Will Smith movie. Please, somebody, if you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comment section. The Will Smith movie in the NFL. Concussion. Yes, that's what it's called. Concussion. You have to go watch Concussion. You'll understand. They got an actor that's playing Roger Goodell. You got the owners. You got all the, man, go watch the movie Concussion. You'll understand. This is true stuff. This is real stuff. I mean, some of these movies are kind of giving you a depiction of what happened. Go to watch Draft Day as well. That's a good opportunity to understand how things are going around draft time. But the movie Concussion, please check it out. I love the movie Concussion, but it gives you what was really going on with these players' head. I mean, look at What's your boy name in New England? Hernandez. We can say what we want about him, but I'm not judging the man. I mean, we hate what he did, but I'm not judging him. Nothing he did. CTE is real. They already did the test. The man has CTE. And if you know what that does, watch the movie Concussion. See what some of them players that they don't talk about have done to themselves and were doing. You'll understand they're losing their mind. When you went in the collision of the helmets, and just the contact at a whiplash level and stuff, what's happening with your brain? There's fluids that get released in your brain that are toxic. They're toxic. Every time you get hit like that, it's like fluids release that are terrible for your brain, and it's messing these guys up. So go check out the movie Concussion. I promise you, you'll understand what I'm talking about a whole lot better. But yes, let me see. So they don't like how he handled the player brain damage situation. They basically tried to fight it at one point and say it was nothing about it, but they reached a settlement. I forgot what that was about. Yeah, the settlement created a $675 million compensation fund for which former NFL players can collect from depending on the extent of their conditions. Guys, you know it was something serious when they had to give almost $700 million and put it in a fund for players later in life if they start having problems and they think that's what it is, to get help or to be taken care of. Because CTE is real. Go watch the movie Concussion. You'll see how these guys are losing it. And that's why some of y'all notice some players that are good and they leave after 6 years. Why did he retire? Even some of the middle of the road players, some of them retire, and some of them don't even have concussion a concussion history in the NFL. But some of them want to preserve their life because that banging and banging and banging can shorten your life. You look up 25 years later and say, man, I can't believe the CTE has taken effect. I mean, it's gotten worse for me. I mean, it basically happened to me because all the players leaving the NFL right now are leaving in their mind with risk of, man, I hope I don't start having problems later in life. You know, I hope I don't start losing it. I hope I don't, man, I hope I'm okay, because them playing football is dangerous to their brains and their heads and their bodies. So he handled that situation bad, all right? Also, people don't like how he handled Deflategate. Teachers, boy. They don't like how in the most recent one, how he handled the U.S. national anthem protest. So there's a lot of negatives as far as Roger Goodell that a lot of people don't like about him. But at the end of the day, his job ain't for nobody in front of him to like him. It's the people that back him, them 32 guys. Them 32 guys behind him that back him. He's standing there like this, and he got 32 guys behind him voting for him to be the commissioner. He don't care that y'all don't like it, because what you don't like is making them more money. So they vote him in and out. The only way you can make a change is in the NFL if every fan base boycotted or something like that. Outside of that, you are going to watch a product that those 32 owners will control. They will control. And I can tell you now, it is nearly impossible to get all 32 team fans to boycott anything, even if they don't like the NFL they watching. They're too big. It's too many people that's not going to care about any issues and just want to watch the game. I can care less. That's what it's about, man. Chiefs fans are seeing this with Tom Bahali. He's starting to lose it. A lot of them, man, and it's a lot of them people don't talk about. Go watch the movie Concussion. There's a lot of them that a lot of people just does not talk about. They're losing their mind, man. But y'all need to look that up. That's pretty it's pretty cool. That movie is good. But that's Roger Goodell, ladies and gentlemen. That's who's fighting for the NFL when it comes to negotiations versus the players. And ultimately, deep down inside, he knows he has the power to just say, you do what I tell you to do, or you get fired. I'm just saying. It's the truth. But that's why they have a players association. And that's ran by Damari Smith. And he's that guy that represents the players. And once again, the only leverage that players will always have is the simple fact that they have a players association, and Damari Smith will tell them, everybody stop playing. And since you're a part of the association, well, he'll actually talk to them about it and let them vote on it. Do y'all want to stop? This is what they're trying to do to y'all. This is what and if y'all like it, we'll roll with it. If you don't like it, we'll fight it. If they're putting their muscle on it, are y'all willing to basically sit out? Are y'all willing to not get paid? That's his job. That's Damari Smith's job. What y'all want to do, players? They got top players that are at the head of the association, and they coordinate with Damari Smith. And his job is to represent them. What you don't like as a collective group, I will fight for. What you do like as a collective group, I will fight to keep. That's his job. Oh, you like more money? I'll fight to try to get you some in this next CBA. And how far are y'all willing to go? How far are y'all willing to go? That's what you have to ask yourself. How far are you willing to go? We got a troll in here. Let me get rid of him. All right, he gone. All right, but so the players have to say, we want this, and if we don't get it, we're all willing to sit out. It's hard for them, though. Every player isn't equal. Every player isn't equal. It's easy if you're making $30 million to say, I'll sit out because I got $5 million in the bank, $10 million in the bank, $30 million. I don't know. You got money. It's easy to say that. But what about all the players, which is majority? Because remember, the top end of your roster is making all the money. That's a small group of players. Everybody else, I mean, you probably got 15 people making money where they're going to be all right. And then the other 37 or whatever it is on the roster, 38 players, sit out, man. I can't live. I got to be able to survive. I can't go without a check. So it's tough. It's tough to get majority players or whoever their representatives are to say, okay, let's do this sit out to get what we want. It's tough. But Damari Smith, that's his job, to fight for the players. His job is to fight for the players, man. And a little bit about Damari Smith, because it's going to get interesting about him, him and Goodell's back and forth, what they've been able to negotiate, what they're seeing far apart from, all that stuff, man. Appreciate that facts, KC. All right, so this is a guy that did his basically through school and performance. Damari Smith, all right. Basically, University of Virginia School of Law, got his BA in political science. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Let me back up. He got his BA at Cedarville University, a Christian college in Ohio, in political science. And then he got his Juris Doctorates. Congratulations, sir. At the University of Virginia School of Law. So he went to law school. Okay. Now, he served as counselor to then, let me see. Let me give you, yes, he was actually, he worked for the U.S. Attorney's Office in one of the Department of Justice. Well, he worked for the Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Started as counsel. Served as counsel. Okay. So he has a lot of experience, legal experience, obviously, representing the U.S. I mean, he representing the country in legal matters. So he has, like I said, in order to be the commissioner, you got to be somebody and be somebody special. So in order to be the basically the Players Association president, well, actually executive director, that's his title. In order to be that, you got to be somebody, man. You got to be somebody because the players are also paying you a lot of money. That's something y'all have to understand as well. When you have a players association, you're paying dues. So every player, I don't know if they do percentage or a flat amount per player, but they pay dues. They pay dues. It's probably a percentage. And this guy's probably getting paid a lot of money by the players to represent them, because he's the one who's looking out for the players' best interest, just like Goodell is looking out for the owner's best interest. My players need more money. My players need this. My players need that. My players are tired of contact on the field. We need to reduce the amount of practices. He got that done. We need to reduce the amount of contact in preseason. He got that done. Less contact practices. He's done some things for the players, man. He was one of the main reasons they had a lockout in 2011. But I personally think he folded at the end just to get a deal done, because once again, when these players aren't getting their checks, everybody can't survive. It's tough. It is tough. But you have two, what I like to call savvy juggernauts representing their clients. That's a good way to put it. Representing their clients to the best, to the utmost. And these are the guys I wanted you to know who they were today. Okay? Let's see what I said. That's what I wanted y'all to know today. I'm not going to move forward past this, because the next video, we're going to actually talk about the differences. What are they actually asking for? What is the NFL asking for? What is the Players Association asking for? What is the NFL saying? What is the NFL willing to give them on what they're asking for, and telling them, no, we're not giving you that? Vice versa. What is the players willing to actually do that the NFL wants and don't want to do that the NFL wants? We're going to talk about all that. And we're going to talk about these two guys, Roger Goodell and DeMaurice Smith, and how they're arguing these things, their points, why they want this, why they want that, why they don't want this, why they don't want that. We're going to talk about that, because that's next level. All of this surrounds the simple fact that if they can't come up with an agreement, this is the most serious CBA coming up in 2 years, when I'm upset because they have the opportunity to be negotiating now. And reports say that they are not. And we're going to talk about why they're not, because they're actually pissed off with each other. You got two guys at the top that are not seeing eye to eye, not agreeing with each other. Goodell trying to flex power in some situations, saying things like, if I want to, we can make them do that anyway. And basically just trying to give them, these things are happening. And you got DeMaurice Smith. Well, let's take it to court. Let's go through the legal battle then. It's a lot of stuff happening right now. The NFL wants to happen. There's some things that we all as fans would love to happen that the NFL want, and the players don't. And then we'll discuss why they don't want it. Everybody has their reasons, and we have to sensibly break them all down, talk about them, and see what our thoughts are. What conclusions do we come up that the players should get and the owners should get? And we're going to come up with those on our own, so that on this channel, we can have our own football political stance, in other words, because it's a political stance. That's what it is. You either on the side of the NFL or you're on the side of the NFLPA, the players, or you're independent and see areas for both sides. So that's what it's going to be going forward, guys. Today, I wanted to lay the foundation and tell you who the two main guys that we'll be talking about are. It's their jobs to get them done, get the deals done. But we're going to go forward into talking about those deals and talking about how they can get them done and what they need to do and how bad it can actually get. Shout out Carnell Williams with the donation. TD, don't forget to add me to the fantasy. Man, I got you, bro. You already know. Man. But yeah, so we're going to continue the series every single day. I'll go live for all y'all who love lives that I do. Tonight, Dougly Do Wrong, we got a collaboration, so y'all come on over. Hopefully, I'll be able to stream it live. I'm trying to work on my system and getting it working. Something's wrong, but I'm doing a collab with Dougly Do Wrong. He's hosting it, so understand I'm not the one hosting it, so therefore, me and him are going to Skype, and basically it's going to be on his channel after that. But as far as for us, I might go live while we're doing it anyway. And even if you can't see him, if I don't feel like doing this and showing his face, you'll hear him. Okay. He annoys me. There will be more games and more teams. We don't know, Pete. That's the argument. It's an argument. They're trying to get rid of preseason as well. Well, half of preseason. They're trying to get rid of it. Man, y'all make me want to keep going. But this TD Fans Talk. Thank y'all for tuning in to part 1 of the NFL versus the NFLPA. We're going to dive in deeper tomorrow, talking more in depth about this situation. And basically tomorrow's just going to be about what are the differences. This side wants this side wants that. Okay? And we're going to talk about the arguments. Why? Just all the whys. Okay, but this is TD Fans Talk. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Peace. I'm out, y'all.